And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are asking, with all this controversy about the Verstappens being behind Horner's downfall, we're asking, is Jos Verstappen a suitable person for the paddock? Simply because we did ask whether a certain Flavio Briatore is a suitable person to be in the paddock. We pretty much said no. Who are we to judge? I don't know. But a couple of reasons why, if you will, and then we'll summarise them here, and then we're going to go right into him. So, Jos Verstappen, karting track fight along with his father, involved in an incident, an altercation in the karting track in Belgium, resulting in a man with a fractured skull. In 2008, we had threats and restraining orders. In November 2011, there were more assault allegations. And the next year, in 2012, we had an attempted murder charge. In 2016, there was an altercation with his father, and there's also been rumours of harsh parenting skills with Max Verstappen, some suggesting it's child abuse, going as far as that. We're not suggesting that, obviously. We don't really have much proof. Really, it's just people's accounts. But is Jos Verstappen a toxic person in the paddock? That's pretty much what we're asking. So let's take the first news story. Verstappen guilty of assault but walks free. So guilty of assault. So he got found guilty of court. So a fact. Dutch driver was found guilty of assault in a Belgian court. This was on Monday. All the way back. This was Autosport on the 30th of October 2000. And he received a 5-year suspended sentence. That's out of reaching an out-of-court settlement with the victim. Now, some courts, I'm not sure with this Belgium, allow you to pay money. I think Germany does as well. Don't quote me on that. But here we go. I mean, essentially they're saying Verstappen was found guilty of assault on the Monday, receiving a 5-year suspended sentence. Now, what that means is your suspended sentence, if you do something equally naughty or naughty again and you're brought before the court, that suspended sentence may well become an actual prison sentence rather than a suspended prison sentence. But he reached an out-of-court settlement with the victim. Verstappen was found guilty. This was of fracturing, breaking, cracking, fracturing the victim's skull. The assistant public prosecutor Cedric Stuck told Reuters by telephone. Now, under Belgian law, a defendant who's reached a defendant who's reached a financial settlement with the victim can receive a lighter sentence. He wouldn't provide the details of the settlement, but Verstappen, 28 at the time, escaped custodial sentence if he stays out of trouble for the next 5 years. The assault charge will be carried a possible maximum sentence of 5 years in jail. Verstappen was not present in court. His father was also involved, received the same sentence. The charges went back to an incident at a karting track in the Belgian town of Lanaken, near Tongeren in May 1998. The Verstappens and a group of friends, they became involved in a fracas with another group of people who wanted to use the track. And after a fight, a 45-year-old man was left with a fractured skull, and obviously they had this settlement. Moving on, this is 2012. Verstappen arrested after girlfriend assault. Jos Verstappen has been arrested in his native Netherlands. This was a story from, if we go forward, I have been scouring the archives, the 5th of January 2012 on Autosport's sister site, Motorsport. So as it suggested, Verstappen was arrested in the Netherlands. The former Benetton Stuart Minardi driver turned himself into police after fleeing the scene. Yes, very brave of him, isn't it? Involving his 24-year-old ex-girlfriend, according to Flemish newspaper De Standard. Now, Dutch police confirmed the arrest of the 39-year-old man after an incident in the eastern city Roermond. Unconfirmed reports say Verstappen deliberately struck his former girlfriend, who was taken away by an ambulance to hospital with heavy abrasions. Yeah, he struck her with a car. With an actual car, not fists, not weapons, an actual car. Verstappen has been previously accused of beating his girlfriend, it says here. It's definitely not the first time he's done this. That was what an unnamed woman said, told RTL Television. I think I now need to go and hide. I don't know what to expect now when he's released. Oh dear. In 2008, Verstappen was fined and sentenced to 3 months suspended jail time over an assault involving his ex-wife. I think that could be Max's mum, I'm not sure. And more than 10 years ago, convicted of, obviously, there. That's not particularly great, is it? When Max Verstappen was, this is obviously going back with the karting incident. And it's just, it makes for not particularly great reading, doesn't it? Upon a closer look into the past of Verstappen, it seems that the karting track was followed by several other. In 2008, the Dutchman was summoned to court after his former wife, Sophie Kompken, who was an ex-car racer, complained against him with charges of harassment and assault. Later, Jos was found not guilty, but he was given a 3-month suspended jail sentence for sending threatening text messages. That's classy, isn't it? Again, in 2011, police had detained a 39-year-old man. Was later confirmed to be Verstappen with his ex-girlfriend. Recently, there's been many Twitter uprisings against Verstappen for mistreating Max after the fans came to know that the Dutchman would leave his young son at the gas station for making a karting mistake. We'll get into that in a bit. Verstappen physically attacked his own father, Franz Verstappen. I mean, hello, Jos Verstappen beats up his own father. Reports Max Verstappen's famous father had reportedly had an event for a few days at the Hungarian-German Grand Prix. Now, this is Der Telegraph, the Dutch newspaper, and it reported that Verstappen attacked his own father, Max's grandfather, essentially, Franz Verstappen. The report said the incident happened shortly after the Budapest race on Sunday in Jos's hometown of Montfort, the Netherlands. The Telegraph said Franz Verstappen filed a complaint against police, saying we've seen before that Jos has loose hands, but this was the limit. I think it was later played down. So was Jos Verstappen, though, abusive to Max Verstappen? This is the other question we're going to get into. So Max Verstappen was often quoted, this is all the links are in the description, often quoted his father to be a very strict teacher. His father managed the youngster's karting career, but he was not someone to be kind to his son's mistakes. Verstappen has struck his son, allegedly, for his son's mistakes on track. Famously, the Dutchman abandoned his son at a petrol station for an on-track mistake. His son waited at the place until his mother Sophie came to pick him up. Classy, classy, classy. This is Jos Verstappen talking about his parenting skills.
People say how a bad father I was to him, to abuse your child. I never abused him. I was teaching him. I was hard on him. That mistake, and that was also my plan on that, to learn to think. A lot of people have no idea what you have to do to arrive at the top of a sport.
No, I don't think you do either, mate. You never made it to the top of the sport, if I'm honest. You kind of live through your son. Verstappen, he was a very solid racer. In terms, I remember going from, 16th to 6th in Malaysia in 2001 in the rain, in an Arrows. Let's be fair, it wasn't the best car. So he was good in mid-level cars. He was just never great. Could he have won a race? I guess in one of those crazy races where, the sea parted for Moses, it could have happened to Jos Verstappen, but he made too many mistakes. Yeah, sorry. He did. So, that's Verstappen to miss Saudi Grand Prix after this. This was, these are just some of the searches. Max Verstappen defends father amid Christian Horner claim. So, let's get into his debate with Christian Horner. And now this is quite interesting. Horner was having, this is from TikTok, linked in the description again. This is from TikTok. Horner was having an animated discussion with Max Verstappen's father, Jos, in the Red Bull Motorhome. This is during the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend. You can't see what was said, but you can clearly see they're having some kind of debate. There's hands going. Horner's almost like, I can't read body language, but he's very much in a defensive point, it does look, both of them look very animated. I don't think it's a friendly conversation where they're going to be, swapping Christmas cards, if I'm honest. And this was around the time, obviously, when the whole WhatsApp game came out as well. And Jos Verstappen's obviously not very happy with not the way they're treating Max, but they can't have a fast car. But this was Christian Horner on Max Verstappen. This was all the way back in, I think, about a year ago now, end of June 2024. Nope.
Red Bull's upper echelon reportedly bypassed this essential clause.
We've lost it.
Internal document.
Let's see if we can find it. It was. Oh wow, this is absolute amateur hour, isn't it? Horner on Jos Verstappen. Here we go.
It's about the performance of the team. It's about how the team works, and of course, we've enjoyed tremendous success. Despite the distractions of this year, we've still won 70% of the races, including 2 sprint races and 7 poles. We lead both world championships. So, you can't control everything in life. I can't, control relationships with drivers' fathers.
Mm-hmm.
But my focus is on the performance of our drivers, the performance of our team, That's what we're doing.
The interesting thing is he says you can't control the relationship with drivers' fathers. Yeah, he has a contract with Max, not Jos Verstappen. And obviously, if Red Bull were to turn around and go, no, Jos, you're not welcome in the paddock, that will obviously cause an issue with Max. Max is his own man. Does he really need his father around? I don't think so. Lewis Hamilton had his father around for the first few years being his manager. That soon ended. I to the life of me, I can't tell you exactly why. Maybe it was for the better, but now when you look at it, they do seem to have. I'm just going to put my hair's going everywhere. They do seem to have a much better relationship now than they did, not for the first few years, but kind of like in the middle of his career, which is absolutely lovely. And dare I say, Hamilton's dad has a better relation with Hadjar than most of the Red Bull team did with Hadjar at the time. In particular, a certain Helmut Marko. But there we go. So is Jos Verstappen a toxic count? I think potentially he is. There are talks about him being involved in the downfall of Christian Horner. If it is true, and once again, this is absolute conjecture and rumours, if it is true that the Verstappens are holding Red Bull Horner to account to the point where we are not going to stay if Horner's still here, I mean, that's pretty much blackmail. Do they have something on Horner? I mean, this is a guy who has now, with Red Bull, won 8 drivers' titles and not quite, 8, but many constructors' titles as well. And is it worth them getting rid of Horner if they think Max is going to go? And that's the thing. Why? He was the most experienced team boss in the paddock. He wasn't my favourite team boss, but he defended his drivers to the hilt, sometimes uncompromisingly so. Sometimes it made a fool out of Christian Horner himself, but he still defended them. So in terms of that, I would love a Christian Horner batting for me. If I was one of his drivers. He defended Sergio Perez up till the bitter end. So it's going to be really interesting to see what carries on down the road. But Jos Verstappen, yeah, not the nicest, but I think we can definitely conclude, given that evidence, definitely not the nicest person in the paddock. If you made it to the end, give us a subscribe, comment below, and let us know if you think Jos Verstappen should be in the paddock. I mean, bearing in mind, they've got rid of Nelson Piquet, who said horrible things about Lewis Hamilton. They got rid of, to a point, and for a little bit, Flavio Briatore cheated, but they're not going to get rid of someone that tries to use a car against his ex-partner, fractures a guy's skull, etc., etc. I think that should be on the list of, don't come back. Anyway, I digress. Speak to you soon. Stay safe, and thank you very much.